All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another live stream on WooEnglish. As always, this is your favorite channel, and we meet in another live stream to learn some English, to learn from a very motivating, inspiring story, the story of Rosa Parks. So we are going to go through one of our amazing videos, a video that a lot of our viewers liked, which was about the famous civil rights activist and the woman who actually changed the history of the United States, and that's Rosa Parks. We are going to listen to some passages from her story from our channel, and at the same time, we are going to use her story to learn some English. And before we start, I would love to know how much you know about the lady. But before of that, could you please click the like button if you see it, I think, up there or down below the video? Make sure to subscribe if this is your first time watching this channel. I'm sure you will like it. And also, if you know someone who will or might benefit from our video, please don't deprive them of this chance. Share with them the link to the video. I think you will find it down below the video. But without further ado, let's start. And the first question I would love to ask you today about the character of today's listening. So it will be, as I said, a listening, and also we will use her story to learn various points about English. The first question: how much do you know about Rosa Parks? I know the story fully. I have heard about Rosa Parks, but I don't know the details. I never heard about Rosa Parks. Which of these three statements describe you? Have you ever heard about Rosa Parks? You never heard about Rosa Parks? You know the full story about Rosa Parks? Can you please write for us which one is, or which one represents you, which statement represents you in the chat? I would love to see how much you know about the woman. We are going to see how was the situation between black people, white people back in the time of Rosa Parks. Then we are going to see why is Rosa Parks famous? Why or what is the thing that she did that made her a very important figure in the history of the United States? And we are going to also learn some language through the story of Rosa Parks. So today you will have a nice, great live stream. I'm sure you will enjoy it. But first, answer this question: what or how much do you know about Rosa Parks? I know everything about Rosa Parks. So just go to the language point. I have heard the story of Rosa Parks, but I don't know the details. Is this you? If this is you, write number 2 in the chat. I never heard the story of Rosa Parks. If this is you, write number 3 in the chat. For me, of course, I know the details, but before I've just heard about her in when we were studying the history of the United States. She is very important, actually. That in most courses about American history, you will definitely find the part about Rosa Parks. She is that famous, actually. 1, 2, or 3, which one represents you? Write that for me in the chat. Before we carry on, I would love to know how much my viewers already know about the woman that we are going to talk about today. All right, so let's see. Is she black? Yes. Yes, she was a black woman, and she contributed to uh, black people's rights movement. Like she really what we call civil rights movement. Uh, there was her. There was Martin Luther King. There were other figures, but she was one of the most famous figures of civil rights movements, meaning the movement for black rights or for the rights for black people. And what she did was really interesting because she advocated for the rights of black people without saying anything. And this is the most amazing thing about her story. She said nothing and she advocated for the rights of her people. Hassi, how are you first? How is life? How is the weather, actually? I should ask. The weather here in Morocco is absolutely stormy. I like white circle characters. Why? What's the difference? She too is a person like uh, no matter the color of the skin, these are people who contributed to history. These are people who had some uh, uh, like some impact on how we live today. Okay, next question. Yes, this is her, and we will see why in most of her statues, because she has a lot of statues around the United States, we will see why she is most of the time sitting down. This is a very important detail that a lot of people, if they see her statue for the first time, they will ask, why is she sitting down? Why is the statue sitting down? But there is a reason, actually. There is a reason. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the first question. The first question is as follows. Which of these, if you can allow me to just pull my questions in front of my, which of these was a rule for black people when they get on buses? If a black person gets on the bus, what is the rule? 3. So Android never heard about Rosa Parks. This is a great opportunity. Android, how are you doing? So if a black person rode the bus back in the days, in the time of Rosa Parks, they had to sit in the back, they had to sit in the front of the bus, they had to give their places to white people. Which of these was true for black people back in the days? A, B, or C? Write for me your answer in the chat. Which of these was true for black people? If a black person back in the days before Rosa Parks rode a bus, and you can see, by the way, in the picture that you see of Rosa Parks, she appears with a very famous figure. Do you recognize the person, the man sitting behind Rosa Parks here? A, B, or C? Which of these three was true for black people on buses back in the days? Rain. Okay, nice. It's raining here too, Android. It's raining here as well. Well, if a black person back in the days got onto a bus or got on a bus, they had to do two things. They needed to sit in the back of the bus, and if a white person got up, they need to stand and give them their place. Even if it is in the back of the bus, they need to give their place to a white person. So this is how things were back in the days. It was very unfortunate time for someone to have a darker skin. Number 2, what happened? What happened if a black passenger refused to give up a seat? If a black person is sitting in the back of a bus because they had to sit in the back, and a white person gets up on the bus, what should the black person do? They should give up their place. They should stand up and allow the white person to sit down. What if they don't do that? What if they refuse? What if they keep sitting down? They had to pay some money. Nothing happened to them. Violence and maybe arrest. Which of these would happen to a black person who refused to give up their place to a white person? A is wrong. Something would happen to them, and that thing is violence and an arrest. They would be arrested for Malcolm X, not Malcolm X. That's another person. Also very famous for defending the rights of black people. The next question. Which group had more legal protection, had more protection by the law? Black people, white people, everyone was equal. I think this one is very, very, very clear. Of course, it was white people. So white people had more legal protection back in the days. So again, for people who are just joining, of course, welcome. Today we are talking about Rosa Parks. We are using one of our videos from the videos that we share every single day, stories that will help you learn some English. We will show you how to learn some English from one of our videos. So we are going to use the video. We are going to listen to some small passages from it, and then we are going to practice some English from that. But before now, we are only going through like the introduction. We are getting to know who is this figure, Rosa Parks, that we are talking about today. So if you are watching till now, can you please be nice and click the like button, or sleep with an eye open? Click the like button if you don't mind. That would help spread this video and share it with more people. Like when you click the like button, YouTube goes and recommends this live stream to more people. More people will join us. Of course, we benefit because we have more viewers, and also you benefit because you will have more opinions, more people to interact with, more people to talk to in the chat. So if you can please click the like button. Let's go back. Okay, next question is about segregation. So back in the days, there was something called segregation laws. What did that mean, segregation law? It meant that people chose where to sit. Schools and buses were shared, like everyone can ride them in the same way, or black and white people were separated. Which one is correct? Android, the person sitting next to Rosa Parks in the picture is none other than Martin Luther King himself. I'm not sure if this is a real picture, if they lived at the same time or no, but the person sitting in the background, the person that you see in the background is Malcolm X. Is Martin Luther King, sorry. Martin Luther King. The most famous black activist. All right. Of course, this means so segregation. Whenever you hear the word segregation, like people were segregated, people. Okay, Hillary. All right. Hilarity. Love the word. Love the name. So this meant that people, black people, white people, were separated. And Mr. Hilarity, sorry, hilarity. Thinks those were good days. I also like the avatar. That's a nice avatar. Back in the days, also, segregation laws were actually applied by both bus drivers and the police. Okay, so I was going faster because I would love to go to the listening part. So we are going to listen to a small passage from Rosa Parks' story from our videos, and then we are going to try to answer some questions related to language, right? So that's what we will do. So we are going to listen to 1519 to 4, right? So not much. Okay, so let's listen.
That records could expose patterns. That truth, written clearly, could not be erased easily. Rosa was not chasing headlines. She was building foundations. In 1955, she attended a training session at the Highlander Folk School. There, She studied social justice and equality. She discussed strategies with others. She listened. She reflected. At Highlander, Rosa felt something new. Not anger, clarity. She realized that her quiet nature was not a weakness. It was an advantage. Movements need many roles. Some speak, some organize, some prepare the ground. Rosa was a preparer. Back in Montgomery, the city felt tense. Segregation laws were still strong. Bus
So as
drivers
I
held
said,
power.
segregation
Police
laws.
supported them.
Sorry,
The law was
can you stop? Okay, so segregation laws were still strong. As we said, segregation laws simply meant were divided. They had divided schools, they had divided churches, they had even divided places to drink. There were places to drink for white people, places to drink for white people, bars for black people, uh, schools for black people, schools for white people, and
bus
so on and
drivers
so
held
forth.
power. Police supported them. The law was clear and cruel. Black passengers were often humiliated, ordered to move, forced to stand, removed from buses.
Yes. So if you are a black person and you were on a bus, if a white person comes up on the bus, you need to either stand up for them to sit in your place, so you give them your place, or you need to go out of the bus and you walk all the way. So, or also, if you were a black person, you needed to sit in the back of the bus. You could not sit in the front of the bus. So there were a lot of very, very mean rules back in the days.
Rosa saw this daily, not as news, as routine. Many people asked why no one challenged these rules. The answer was simple. The cost was high. People who resisted lost jobs, lost safety, lost peace.
This is it, because a lot of people would say, well, if you were a black person, you would just stand up and fight for them, for yourself, and complain and protest. But that meant that you could ruin your life because the laws were all against you. And if a black person and a white person commit the same thing, do the same thing, do the same even crime or mistake, the black person would be punished more severely than white person. So if you were a black person, you had everything to lose if you decided to protest or to say something. So let's go to the first set of questions for today. And okay, so let me share it. Okay, so we listened to a small passage. Now let's do the first exercise. So the first exercise, can you finish the sentences? Right, you have sentences you need to finish. You have words above from the lesson that we had just done. So these are sentences from the small passage we listened to, and you need to finish it with the words. Let me pull up the words, with the words foundation, clarity, advantage, organize. I'm going to do the first one as an example. Rosa Parks was not looking for attention, she was building. So the word here from the four choices that goes with building is foundations. So Rosa Parks was building the foundations for change, meaning she was setting the basis of change. She was doing the basics, the foundation. Number two, at Highlander Folk School, Rosa gained about social justice and equality. So everything became clear in her head, became very understandable in her head. So which word goes with the word here? Gained about social justice and equality. What do you gain in school? Do you gain foundation, clarity, advantage, or what is the last word? Organize. So which word goes with the gap, or will go in the gap in number two? Only in USA. Clarity for number two. Her quiet personality was not a weakness, but an in the moment or in the movement. So, what is the opposite of advent of weakness from the list. I already said half of the word. I already spitted half of the word. And this is, of course, Rosa Parks next to me here. All right, it was an advantage, of course, for number 3. Last one, some people speak, others, of course, we are left with the word organize. So for people who are just joining, of course, welcome. Today we are doing a language and listening at the same time. We listen to small passages, we practice our language through the story of Rosa Parks. You will find the whole video of the story on our channel. So let's do now the second listening. Find, oh no, not the adverb. Yes. So if you can choose the best, or let's listen first. Okay, let's listen first. Let me fix the listening. All right. So let's listen first, and then we are going to try and find the best answer.
Rosa was a preparer. Back in Montgomery, the city felt tense. Segregation laws were still strong. Bus drivers held power.
Even the bus driver had more power than the regular passenger.
Police supported them. The law was clear and cruel. Black passengers were often humiliated, ordered to move, forced to stand, removed from buses. Rosa saw this daily, not as news, as routine. Many people asked why no one challenged these rules. The answer was simple. The cost was high. People who resisted lost jobs, lost safety.
Okay, so this is all for the listening because the exercise is quite simple. Let me share the exercise with you. So the exercise, simply choose the best form of the adjective. Black people were often humiliated, humiliating. Which one is correct? And here we are going to cover the difference between adjectives that end in ed and adjectives that end in ing. So black people were often humiliated, or humiliating. My friend Android, if you can please scroll to the end of the video, because I think you are watching it a little bit delayed. Because I can see you are answering the previous exercise. So when you arrive to this part, can you scroll to the end of the video, like to the end of the video, so that you are watching us live? And then if you can confirm that, say, hey, I'm here. So black people were often humiliated. Okay, let's look at another one. The conditions of black people in the past were humiliated, humiliating. Which one is correct? Okay, of course, here we are going to say humiliating. So the question here is, what is the difference between an adjective that ends in ed and an adjective that ends in ing? Is there a difference? Let's discover. So what is the difference between ing and ed? Can you tell me here we use ed in an adjective when, and we use ing in an adjective when. You can use the example, you can use any example you want. For example, I'm interested in, and this is interesting. Let me write for you the example on top of the screen so that you can compare for yourselves. This documentary is interesting. I am interested in this documentary. So this is a very simple example. It illustrates the difference between two adjectives, interested and interesting, in the same sentence. So you have the example above. I am interested, or this documentary is interesting. I am interested in this documentary. Based on this little example, can you guess, can you tell me what is the difference between an adjective that ends in ed and an adjective that ends in ing? Is there a difference? Or are they this documentary is interested? So very simply, the rule is the following. We used ed for feeling. I am interested. I am shocked. This is how I feel. And we use ing for the cause or the source of the feeling. Let's practice this in this little example, and then I think we are going to call it a day. So, Rosa felt tired or tiring. Segregation laws were humiliated or humiliating. Many people were afraid or frightening. The silence on the bus was shocked or shocking. So which one is correct? So number one, because this is a feeling, we should say tired. Number two, segregation laws cannot have feelings, so they don't feel. So they are the source, meaning ing. Many people were, of course, here we are feeling, so afraid. The silence on the bus was shocked or shocking. Tired, Claudia, absolutely, yes. The first one, she was tired because we are talking about a feeling. Shocked, shocking, because we are talking about the silence, it's the source. And finally, the situation felt threatening because we are talking about a situation. So I think we call it a day here. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and see you